The Olympics more cheating than you thought. Hello everyone, and welcome to the channel. Now, the Olympics, they're supposed to be this pure celebration of athletic achievement, a glorious display of human perseverance and sportsmanship. Right? Well, not always. Because behind those dazzling smiles and shiny medals, there's a darker side, a side where some athletes would do anything, and I mean to win. Today we're diving deep into the underbelly of the games to expose the stories of the top 3 biggest Olympic cheaters. Boris Onyshchenko, the man who hacked fencing. Our first cheater takes us back to the 1976 Montreal Olympics, where we meet Boris Onyshchenko, a Soviet fencer with a penchant for, shall we say, creative innovation. See, Boris was a pentathlete, meaning he competed in 5 different events: shooting, swimming, equestrianism, running, and most notably, fencing. Each of these events requires a unique set of skills and immense dedication. Now, fencing at a high level is all about precision, timing, and reflexes. It's a sport where every millisecond counts, and the margin for error is razor thin. It's a lightning-fast sport where a single touch can make all the difference. The tension in the air is palpable as fencers try to outwit and outmaneuver each other, and Boris, well, he was good, very good. His skills were undeniable, and he had a reputation for being a formidable opponent. But it turns out, he wasn't content with just being good. He wanted more than just recognition. He wanted to be unbeatable. He wanted to guarantee those touches, to ensure victory, even if it meant bending the rules. A lot. Winning at any cost became his mantra. You see, Boris, this cunning devil, had rigged his épée, the sword used in fencing. He wasn't just relying on his natural talent anymore. Now, in épée fencing, the entire body is a target, and points are scored when the tip of the sword makes contact with the opponent, registering on an electrical scoring system. This system is designed to ensure fairness and accuracy. Boris, in a stroke of, frankly, impressive ingenuity, had tampered with the wiring of his épée, adding a secret button. This wasn't just a minor tweak, it was a game-changing modification. This button, cleverly concealed within the handle of his sword, allowed him to trigger the scoring light without actually making contact with his opponent. It was a masterstroke of deception. It was the Cold War equivalent of hacking the Olympics, and for a while, it worked brilliantly. Boris was on a winning streak, and no one suspected a thing. Boris was racking up the points, leaving his opponents baffled and frustrated. They couldn't understand how he was scoring so effortlessly. "How is he hitting me?" they'd cry, shaking their fists at the sky, or at least at Boris. The confusion and frustration were palpable. Little did they know, he wasn't hitting them at all. He was simply pressing his secret button, making it look like he was landing perfect touches. He was just giving his little button a cheeky little press. It was almost too easy for him. But like all good things, Boris's reign of cheating eventually came to an end. His luck was about to run out. During a match against British fencer Jim Fox, Boris's trickery was finally exposed. Jim Fox was a seasoned athlete and wasn't easily fooled. As Boris launched into one of his phantom attacks, Jim Fox cried foul, claiming quite accurately that Boris hadn't actually touched him. The accusation was serious and couldn't be ignored. Now the judges were initially skeptical. They couldn't believe that a top-tier athlete would resort to such tactics. After all, this was a world-class athlete, a decorated Olympian. The idea of him cheating seemed almost unthinkable. Surely he wasn't cheating, right? The doubt lingered, but the evidence was mounting. But Jim Fox stood his ground, demanding a thorough inspection of Boris's épée. He was determined to uncover the truth, and lo and behold, what did they find? The truth was about to be revealed. That's right, the sneaky little button, wired up and ready to deceive. The evidence was irrefutable. The fallout was swift and brutal. There was no room for leniency in such a blatant case of cheating. Boris was immediately disqualified from the competition, stripped of his team medals, and sent back to the Soviet Union in disgrace. His career was in tatters. The scandal sent shockwaves through the Olympics, becoming an instant legend in the annals of cheating. It was a story that would be told for generations. Boris Onyshchenko, the man who tried to hack fencing, became a cautionary tale. A reminder that even in the world of elite sports, some people will always try to take a shortcut. His story serves as a stark warning to those who might consider following in his footsteps. Tonya Harding. The whack heard round the world. Our next tale of Olympic cheating takes us from the fencing piece to the icy world of figure skating, where we meet Tonya Harding, a woman who, let's just say, took competition to a whole new level. pushing the boundaries of what was considered acceptable in the sport. Now, figure skating, it's all about grace, elegance, and making impossibly difficult jumps and spins look effortless. It's a sport that demands not just physical prowess but also a certain artistry that captivates audiences worldwide. It's a sport where artistry meets athleticism, where dreams are made, and in this case, where things went very, very wrong. The stakes are incredibly high, and the pressure can sometimes lead to unexpected and unfortunate actions. You see, Tonya Harding, she wasn't your typical figure skater. She was tough, she was gritty, and she had a killer triple axel, a move that very few skaters could pull off at the time. But Tonya also had a fierce rival, a graceful, elegant skater named Nancy Kerrigan. Kerrigan was everything Harding was not, polished, poised, and the darling of the figure skating world. These two were the best in the world, battling it out on the ice for Olympic glory. Their rivalry was the talk of the skating community and beyond, capturing the imagination of fans everywhere. The rivalry was intense, the pressure immense, and it all came to a head in the lead-up to the 1994 Winter Olympics in Lillehammer, Norway. The world watched with bated breath as these two skaters prepared to face off. Now what happened next is the stuff of Olympic infamy. It was a scandal that would forever change the landscape of figure skating and leave an indelible mark on the sport. On January 6, 1994, just weeks before the Games, Nancy Kerrigan was attacked after a practice session at the U.S. Figure Skating Championships in Detroit. The attack was shocking and unprecedented. As Kerrigan walked down a corridor, a man rushed up to her and struck her on the right knee with a blunt object. The attack was brutal and left Kerrigan in excruciating pain. The attack was captured on camera, and the footage, showing Kerrigan clutching her knee in pain, screaming, "Why? Why?" became a national sensation. It was a moment that would be replayed countless times on news broadcasts. The assailant was eventually apprehended, and the trail led back to, you guessed it, Tonya Harding. The investigation revealed a web of conspiracy and deceit. Well, not directly to Tonya, but to her ex-husband, Jeff Gillooly, and her bodyguard, Sean Eckert. These two men had orchestrated the attack in a misguided attempt to secure Harding's place at the top. It turned out that Gillooly and Eckart had hired a hitman to take out Nancy Kerrigan, hoping to eliminate her from the competition and pave the way for Tonya's Olympic victory. The plot was as audacious as it was desperate. Now, Tonya's exact role in the attack remains a subject of debate to this day. Some believe she was a mastermind, while others think she was merely a pawn in a larger scheme. She always maintained that she had no prior knowledge of the plot, but the scandal tarnished her reputation forever. The court of public opinion was harsh, and her career never fully recovered. In the end, Tonya Harding did compete at the 1994 Olympics, finishing a distant 8th. Her performance was overshadowed by the controversy that had engulfed her. Nancy Kerrigan, miraculously recovering from the attack, went on to win the silver medal. Her resilience and determination won her the admiration of fans around the world. The whack heard round the world, as it became known, became a dark stain on the world of figure skating, a stark reminder that even in the most graceful of sports, the thirst for victory can drive people to do terrible things. It was a scandal that would be remembered for generations. Chapter 3. Madeline DeJesus. Double the trouble, double the cheating. Our final story of Olympic cheating takes us to the sunny shores of Los Angeles, California, for the 1984 Summer Olympics. This time, we delve into the world of track and field, a sport where speed, strength, and endurance reign supreme. And it's here that we meet Madeline DeJesus, a sprinter from Puerto Rico who, well, decided to get a little creative with her Olympic aspirations. Now Madeline, she was a talented runner, but she wasn't exactly setting the world on fire with her times. She was good, but not good enough to guarantee a spot on the podium. So what's an aspiring Olympian to do? Well, if you're Madeline DeJesus, you call in your secret weapon, your identical twin sister. That's right, Madeline had a twin, Margaret, who conveniently also happened to be a runner, and these two, they weren't just any twins, they were practically indistinguishable. So, Madeline, in a move that can only be described as audacious, hatched a plan to have Margaret run some of the qualifying heats in her place. The idea was simple. Margaret, posing as Madeline, would run the early rounds, conserving Madeline's energy for the finals, where she could then unleash her full potential and hopefully snag a medal. And for a while, it worked like a charm. Margaret, masquerading as her sister, sailed through the preliminary heats, her times just good enough to raise eyebrows but not suspicion. The plan was going flawlessly. Madeline was poised for victory, basking in the glory of her sister's hard work. But as fate, or perhaps karma would have it, their scheme unraveled in the most dramatic way possible. You see, during the 4x400-meter relay race, Madeline, having successfully swapped places with Margaret, took the baton for the final leg. She was running like the wind, her eyes on the prize, the finish line in sight. But as she crossed the finish line triumphant, she made a crucial mistake. She celebrated. And not just a subtle fist pump or a polite wave to the crowd. No, Madeline went full-on celebratory mode, jumping for joy, hugging her teammates, basking in the cheers of the crowd. The problem was, the crowd had just witnessed Margaret, supposedly Madeline, run the earlier heats. And let's just say, they weren't fooled by the sudden change in demeanor. Whispers turned into murmurs, murmurs into accusations. The jig was up. The Olympic officials, initially skeptical, launched an investigation. And it didn't take long for the truth to come out. Faced with mounting evidence and the sheer audacity of their deception, Madeline and Margaret confessed. The fallout was swift and humiliating. They were disqualified from the games, stripped of their relay team's fourth-place finish, and sent back to Puerto Rico in disgrace. The De Jesus sisters' attempt at pulling off the ultimate Olympic switcheroo became a cautionary tale, a reminder that in the world of elite sports there's no substitute for hard work, dedication, and, not trying to pull a fast one on the entire world. Their story serves as a stark lesson that the spirit of the Olympics is about fair play and integrity, values that should never be compromised for the sake of victory. So there you have it, the top 3 biggest cheaters in Olympic history. From rigged swords to phantom attackers to twin switcheroos, these athletes proved that when it comes to winning, some people will stop at nothing. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please make sure to subscribe and like this video. Thanks for watching.